I think everyone has that primal urge for violence. People love to see blood spilled left and right, seeing those fisticuffs flying, zooming in at Mach 10. People have this in the reptilian brain. Let's all admit it. Now, imagine you're back in the days of elementary school. Your mama just packed you some tasty dino nuggets in your Mojo Jojo lunchbox. You're eating them up, dipping them in the ketchup, mixing that ketchup with the mayonnaise to make that bootleg McDonald's sauce. Then, out of nowhere, some douchebag comes over, steals them from you, and you just feel this sense of rage, violence, the bloodlust. It's pouring out of every single pore in your body. You don't know how to control it. You want to meet this kid after school, at the playgrounds, and settle it once and for all like real men. Now bring this type of energy, but involve content creators from various platforms in all those dark crevices of the internet, as if it were Smash Bros, but in real life, and you got a recipe for success. Dubbed Creators Clash. It truly is a boxing event to remember. Now, I'm certain a lot of you still have a sour taste in your mouth from the horrendous Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather fight, where basically they had a competition of who could hug each other the hardest before time ran out. And not to mention the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight, that was over in like a minute and a half. Truly a waste of money and your time. This is different, alright? Unlike those other YouTube boxing events, there is some actual high-octane, nuts-to-butts action consistently throughout multiple fights. It was insane. You got your money's worth. Not only for that, it was all for charity. Now the differences don't even start there. Even the weigh-ins were way more interesting than all the other weigh-ins. Like, you had some ridiculous superstars out here, like Michael Reeves, a mad genius who likes to do crazy projects on the side, who uploads pretty much never, but he has an intimidation strategy of showing his nips out in cutouts, and it seemed to be pretty effective. Now the weigh-ins showed and displayed a wide array and cast of playable characters that all had unique and special relationships with one another that was truly beautiful to watch. Like this beautiful bromance that sparked between two competitors. Just a couple guys being dudes.
So tomorrow, Aaron, I'm gonna fuck you till you love me, friend.
You saw the relationship between a loving father named Dad and his daughter.
I'm just here for me, myself, and I, and my muscles. And my dad. Dad, I love you. Where's the camera? Dad. No, wrong. No, my dad, not you.
Hey, good job. Hey, my man. Double dipping.
Oh, please. Is there security? Okay, that's happening. Yep, thank you.
You're gonna do great.
This is a court case.
Hey.
Now, all jokes aside, these guys did train for a long time, and some of them are pretty shredded. Some more than others, but I digress. These guys, they worked hard and they put in the effort. They had some people were on short notice, they didn't get enough time to practice or train, and others have been doing this for months. And it really shows in the technique, because when these guys actually went and threw hands in the ring, shit got wild, alright? Now, this isn't like your dumbass uncle's bootleg wrestling league that he started one day in his own backyard. This is completely different. This was on another level. This was months, almost a year of preparation and hard work and dedication, mainly all done by a guy named iDubbbz and his wife. And honestly, it really shows the amount of effort they put into this, the amount of people they brought in. It was truly impressive. Now, on to the fights. We're going to start off with a banger. The first female fight, actually, and the only female fight, Just a Minx versus Yodeling Haley. Now, a little bit of context, Yodeling Haley came into this a little bit later, so she didn't have as much time to train as Just a Minx, so that probably factored into the outcome of this match. But either way, Just a Minx has that Irish buff that probably gives her like a 10% boost to like punches or something. But despite all that, Yodeling Haley put on quite a show. She was out there swinging. At first, I thought she'd be pretty intimidated or something because Minx was clearly slightly bigger than her. But she went out there fearless. It's almost as if she took steroids infused with honey badger DNA before the fight started. She chose violence. She woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, and I respect the fuck out of that. Because, man, even Minx said she wasn't ready for it. And, well, At the end, defense was just non-existent. It was just a slugfest. Minx, she was cocking back the arms, locking and loading, just swinging those things like sledgehammers. It's clear to see that Minx's natural Irish instincts went into maximum overdrive for this fight, for the finale. And with that, she was able to emerge victorious. Moving on to the next fight, it's a bit of a shorter one, and it's between the odds one out versus I Did It Thing. Yeah, that odd one's out. The guy who animates these videos, these goofy, the Sue Boy guy, you know? I don't know who talked him into this, but I mean, it will make for a great animation in the future, win or lose. But hey, he's been practicing, he's been grinding hard, you know? So, we'll see how it goes, and well, it did not go great. The odds one out struggled pretty hard, not gonna lie. He was pretty much outclassed in every way by I Did a Thing. It just wasn't even fair. However, he did get a few licks on him, so you did get to see those animation pythons in action, and they're actually pretty decent. But all the mighty heroes must fall one day, and I Did a Thing was just too much for the odds one out to handle. It got to the point where he hit him so hard, the odds one out was stumbling, he didn't know where he was, and I Did a Thing, he literally called the match himself. He was yelling at the ref, hey, stop the match right now. He's clearly not okay. But he didn't listen initially. Then he was forced to continue knocking him around until finally the ref stepped in and ended the match. And by TKO, I Did a Thing wins it all. Now, the next fight that I want to highlight on my list of entertaining fights from this event is the Michael Reeves versus Graham Stephan fight. Basically, the mad scientist versus the accountant you hired to do your taxes. Now, this fight was absolutely, it was a great fight, okay, I'll be honest. Michael Reeves, he was fighting as if someone ran over his dog. Now, I'm gonna put on my detective's cap here real quick, because I believe I can deduce where he got all this pent-up aggression and violent nature from. It can only come from one place and one place only. The most majestic entrance in sports history.
Oh my Lord, the crowd just erupted like a volcano that he would experiment on. Unbelievable stuff right there.
This walkout song is pristine.
It's the best.
It's so good.
It's the best. I almost jumped up out of my seat, man. Wow. Oh, man.
Wow.
This is the energy you get.
This is electric, man.
From the Creator Clash and nowhere else.
Now, majestic entrances aside, back to the fight. The energy he was putting out, the violence, it was wild. I can't believe it, man. He was throwing heat at Graham Stephan, legitimately. Like, the technique was wild. He was bobbing and weaving, ducking, doing all the right maneuvers. It was honestly a spectacle to see. And this guy has only been practicing for a couple months, like maybe 6 months or something. And it was surprising to see how well he progressed. Graham Stephan, he got a couple shots in, sure, but he was mainly just working the jab, and it just wasn't enough. Michael Reeves was just coming in with right hook, left hook, with power and aggression. It was just not fair, man. Like, it just looked like it wasn't fair. He was dominating, and at the end, it went out how you'd think. TKO. The ref had to come in, separate them both, and Michael Reeves won like a gladiator. It was impressive, honestly. Also, I just think it's so stupid how, just looking at the juxtaposition, the difference between the two commentators during this. One of them is like a legitimate boxing commentator, I believe. He seems like he's trying really hard to keep this filter on because it is a live broadcast, so he's trying not to curse at all. And then on the other side of the table, you have Moist Critical, who just starts swearing like a sailor, man, as he should. This is basically Weenie Hut Jr. versus the Salty Spittoon.
I told you. He showed up in that second round. That demon came out.
The wind just came off the Yingling Center because he just opened up a can of whoop.
I just took my headphones off.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I told you, Michael Reeves is a fucking menace. It just took him a minute to feel it out a little bit.
Now on to the main event of the night, iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike, the man voted the world's most sexiest doctor in like 2016 or something. I'm not even joking, this is real. Then you got iDubbbz, a man famous for his series called Content Cop. Basically guys who are being douchebags, he called them out. Dr. Mike, he's been practicing boxing for like 10 years or something. So clearly there's just a big mismatch. I'm surprised iDubbbz even challenged him to this in the first place. Because, you know, who the fuck wants to fight a guy who has 10 years of boxing experience? I mean, this dude in his spare time must have been doing modeling gigs for Calvin Klein or some shit and handing out left and right like they were prescriptions in his free time. At this point, it feels like he's done it all, man. It wouldn't even surprise me if this dude was an astronaut or something, man. He's a fucking supermodel doctor astronaut in his spare time that also happens to be a boxing demon in disguise. So iDubbbz has his work cut out for him. And, well, he put in a pretty decent fight. I'm not even gonna lie. This guy put a lot of heart out there. You know, I mean, he did get smacked around a bit. Well, maybe a lot, but still, it was impressive to see what he was able to do in the ring, man. He made it all the way through until the final round. And even then, didn't get knocked out or TKO'd. And honestly, even though he lost, I would consider this entire event, the way he organized it, a complete success. And I can't wait to see them do another one. They have to do another one. They have to bring like PewDiePie versus Mr. Beast or some shit, you know? Who's the real like legend of YouTube, you know? Some goofy shit like that would be crazy to watch. And that's about all I really wanted to talk about today. Just some goofy fights I saw on the internet. So yeah, I'm Grio, and that's about it. Thanks.